Are you struggling to maintain a consistent and good level of skill in Rocket League? Then let me help you. When it comes to playing Rocket League, there are 3 types of players. The first type only went through the tutorial once and has been playing the game directly inside matches ever since. The second type sometimes jumps into the practice mode, but not very often and only to see how certain moves work. Then we have the third type, which goes back to the practice mode constantly to get better at the game. Now, if you play the game casually, then having little to no practice is completely fine and you can still have fun with your friends. However, when you play competitively or really want to beat that one friend who is way too good, then routinely going to the practice mode is highly recommended. And that's our topic for today. We're going to go over the best Rocket League training routine that you can use to maintain consistent growth in your gameplay. In our imagination, we think we'll take the ball, drive it towards the goalpost in a straight line, and then score a great goal. But in reality, it's never that simple. And more often than not, you have to swing into funny angles to hit the ball at the right place and at the right time. One of the most common situations that you'll find yourself in is that you'll need to side dodge towards the ball so that you can hit it even when you're not facing it. It's very important to practice this side dodge in Rocket League and get your reaction timing to near perfection so that you don't miss a shot just because you couldn't swing a little to the left or right. And then we have ball chasing, which means to practice and to improve your likelihood of driving up to the ball. This can be both when your team needs to pass it to someone or when opponents have it and are about to score a goal. Your speed and recovery really matters. Of course, this isn't about just driving up to the ball when it's in front of you. This is about taking risky routes and making it through. For example, a good player not only utilizes the ground, but even runs up to the walls to take shortcuts whenever necessary. If you try this in a match, it can go wrong in 20 different ways. So, it's important to practice it by yourself and get better at it. And then when you're ready, you can apply it to real matches too. Ask any great player or watch their gameplay, and you will see how often they fly towards the ball. And when you try to do that yourself, it feels like a completely different experience to what you had witnessed on video. Aerials are very, very difficult to pull off and nearly impossible without practice. And even if you have gotten a good grasp on them, you can't stop training because it's something that is very easy to lose practice in. So, if you spend 20 minutes per day practicing other tricks in the game, you should spend 30 for aerials if you're new to training for Rocket League, because they are not easy to learn. And the slightest miscalculation can send your car in the wrong direction. Dribbling is one of the most useful and prominent mechanics in Rocket League, which means to keep the ball connected to your car and not letting it go. You have to learn how to keep the ball with you, especially when you try to change its angle. The 3 main reasons you have to change the ball's angles are, firstly, to pass to another player, secondly, to go in a different direction to the other player, and lastly, to aim it towards the goalpost. In any case, you need to have a near-perfect grasp on dribbling in the game, because if you can't control your ball, then you can't ever win. Last but not least, recovering is perhaps the most important skill in Rocket League, especially for players who are not yet experts, because whether it's your own mistake or because a player bumped into you, you will constantly need to recover your vehicle back into a good position. And sometimes, players purposefully put their cars into awkward angles to hit the ball or to avoid an opponent trying to demo them too, in which case, you need to recover immediately or else it was all for nothing. So, master recovery as much as possible so that you are never left handicapped by simply trying to be bold. These include things like wave dashes, half flips, full flips, and more. And that's how you establish and maintain a great Rocket League training routine. Practice all the mechanics that we've mentioned for 20 to 30 minutes per training session, and you'll become a less reactive and more confident player who can keep the playing field inside the palm of their hands. Every player is different, so make sure to throw in your own touch to our recommendations, because that might work better for you in the end. But we've set you off in the right direction, so you're welcome. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're looking for more Rocket League content, then make sure to check out more of this channel.